Welcome, guys. This is Emilio with A.W.A.R.E. And in the next few moments, I'm going to share with you briefly why you do not want to play the game incorrectly. If you have not practiced for the game that I'm talking about is the game of court. Okay? When you are given a ticket of some sort of obligation, so you think it's an obligation to appear at a venue like a court within a system that has been created to not only keep you enslaved, but to keep you on the false pretenses that you owe a duty to the system that is there to make money in their business, in their game. Now, a lot of people have a lot of things going on: bankruptcy, mortgage, foreclosure, court cases. It can be a parking ticket, it can be DUI, child support, you name it, people are going through it. Now, within the next few moments, you're going to have the capacity, the ability, with the knowledge that I'm giving you to be able to win in their game. How to win every game when you're dealing with these systems, with these government officials, with these de facto corporations that have infiltrated our society. Okay? Keep in mind something very important. There are two money systems. If you have not watched the video that just came out recently about the two money systems, a link will be put here in the description below. Okay? Look at that video. It explains the non-UCC and the UCC. There you're going to learn the difference of the two money government systems, the two Americas. And there you're going to be able to understand that it's all about the bonds. It's all of that as well. Okay? Once you understand that and it's all about contract and everything is run under the UCC, Uniform Commercial Code, at that point in time, you're going to be able to not only understand what is or how the game is being ran, but you're going to finally be able to get out of the game victoriously. Okay, so first and foremost, let's understand something quite clearly here, okay? Whenever you go into a court, okay, if you have to go, okay, there's no need for people to be going into the court to play the game unless they're going to win the game. You're not going to go to play a game knowing that you're going to lose or thinking I might lose. You're going to go in with the mindset, I'm victorious, I'm going to win. We're going to win if it's a team. Okay? And you have to ask yourself, is it a de jure or a de facto court? If you're dealing with bankruptcy, if you're dealing with, not bankruptcy, if you're dealing, for example, with municipal, if you're dealing with child support, those are de facto courts. Okay? I also put out a video recently about de jure and de facto, a brief introduction to the meanings. Get yourself a Black's Law dictionary. I'm not going to go into full detail on each and every word. This video is going to be a quite short video, but pretty extraordinary in the amount of information that I'm going to provide to you so that you're equipped with the knowledge. You see, because people will fail, not because they're not lacking the knowledge, but it's because of the confidence. So I'm going to give you the knowledge and the confidence. Okay, if you have those two ingredients, you're guaranteed to win every game. Now, you got to ask, are you going into a de facto court? Now, briefly, I'm going to share with you why I am mentioning the de jure and de facto, because a lot of people do not understand They do not comprehend that these systems that are in place may look like they have some sort of authority over you. In actuality, they do not. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, they do not. They only have power over you if you allow them to. Okay, there's a difference in that. If you allow them. Now, if you're under threat, duress, and coercion, that's a whole different story. Okay, but de facto, okay, it's actual, existing. In fact, it's law Latin. Okay, it's existing in fact, having effect even though not formally or legally recognized, illegitimate but in effect, de facto government. Okay, unlike de jure, which is true government, like Supreme Court, Federal Court, those are de jure systems. Okay, constitutionally backed. Okay, now you gotta go into court, know that you're making a special appearance. If you have to go into their venues, into their systems, into their and play their game, just know that you're making a special appearance. Okay? You are doing your part in defending your all caps name, which is your estate. If you do not know that already, then you got a lot of studying to do. Okay? The straw man, which is in Black's Law Dictionary, get yourself a good Black's Law Dictionary. Start educating yourself. Start learning these meanings, these words that they're using. Start using dictionaries like etymology. Okay? ETYMOLOGY, I believe it is. Etymology. I'll put the link in the description of the video as well. Okay? And learn the true meaning of words that they're using against you. So you're going to court, you're making a special appearance, you know that. Let the record reflect. On the record, for the record, let the record reflect. When you have to make your appearance, you always, before speaking, you say, for the record, on the record, and let the record reflect. And then you state your piece. You want to do the sui juris. If you should know this already, sui juris, SUI space JURIS, sui juris at law, Latin, of one's own rights to which a free man is entitled, one who is not under the power of another, as a slave, minor, or of the like. That's how they have all U.S. citizens as minor, as slaves, as federal employees. This is not mumbo jumbo. This is fact. You can go and look it up. Okay? Once again, we're not going to go into all details of everything that I'm going to discuss here, but I'm giving you the basic steps for you to be confident when you have to go into these courts, into these systems. Okay? Now, must do. First two steps I can give you is do not do motions. Okay, get facts into court record would be number one. Get all the facts into the court record, number one. Two, then file to get discovery, demanding them. Okay, and three, affidavit of discovery, affidavit of facts, sworn affidavit, truth affidavit. Under that, put demand for discovery, proof of claim, demand for evidence. Okay? Remember, there's no such thing as constitutional rights. You know, Creator gave you and I rights, not man, unalienable. Okay? God, spiritual being, not a name given by a corporation. So just keep that in mind. Okay? We inherit these rights. It's unalienable rights. Sovereigns, rights, natural rights, universal rights, indigenous, we all are. Okay? We have to understand that they have us in these jurisdictions. They can have jurisdiction, but they don't have subject matter jurisdiction. And many of you are giving up subject matter jurisdiction. You know, you have to beat them with the pen and paper. Okay? That's what you must do. Okay, so once you do these simple little steps that I did gave you, okay, and keep in mind, status and nationality is everything. They have us classified wrongly on purpose. Okay, so you're gonna write what you want to discover, and have them furnace the information within 3 days. If they don't respond to that affidavit, it becomes a contract in admiralty, then becomes a judgment in admiralty. Okay, you got your affidavit of truth. Okay, and these are the simple steps for you to take if you're gonna have to go into their venues. Why? Because if you've not been into the court and you do these first steps, they're gonna postpone, they're gonna cancel, or they're gonna say discharge with prejudice. Whatever you're seeking, you have to put it in your affidavits. Okay? One small truth will crush a mountain of lies. And it's your truth as a man and a woman coming into their venues, letting them know that you're here to defend and protect your estate, your all caps name, your straw man. You don't say your straw man. You don't say that you're here to protect that. I'm telling you, you're going in there as if someone's trying to go into your purse, into your wallet, and steal from you. Someone trying to go into your house and steal from you. You have to act as if this is happening. That way you're able to protect and defend yourself in honor, stay in honor, and give them what they want. Because at the end of the day, they don't have subject matter jurisdiction unless you give it to them. Okay? No victim, no crime. You have to keep that in mind as well. A lot of people are so worried about these courts, about these magistrates imposing and imposters acting like judges when they're merely just lawyers and attorneys. Okay, they're to tore you up and lay your butt down. That's what these guys and gals know how to do very good. They don't practice law, they know statutes and codes. Okay, remember, ownership is determined by access. You are the owner of your all caps name, of your birth certificate. Many people can say that birth certificate you don't own it. Well, guess what? It's in your possession. Yes, you do. Okay, it's got your estate information. Yes, you do. Okay, we can debate that here. We're not going to debate that because keep in mind, you're going in there to protect something that was created for you. Okay, by a system that had used fraud. Okay, they used conniving fraud against your parents. Your mother signed you over to the state unknowingly, and now you're a grown up, but they have you as a decedent. They have you even listed as a minor child. There's many ways that they have people categorized. Okay, so an owner to property has full unconditional access to their property. That means your birth certificate, your social, or that you have complete access to it. No one, if you don't, then who does? Okay, if you only have limited access to that property, you cannot claim to be an owner. Okay, so many of you are semi-owners. You're not a full owner. You're not grown up yet. And what I mean by that, as I mentioned, they have you listed as minors. They even have people listed as decedents. Okay? Law and equity. They you bring to court, they must use it. Okay? You bring the Law and Equity Act. You bring that to court, they must use it. And they have to answer to it. Section 2 and 3. They hate it. Show them and tell them you have 3 days to win, regardless of their charges. Okay, so you give them 3 days, and you have, regardless of the charges, they have 3 days to respond. Okay, one, if the remedies you have against them is to bring action against them, go ahead and do it. You ask the judge, is this a TOSI, a transaction of security interest? If they say no, you can just walk out. If they say yes, you got them beat. Okay, there are many people who are winning, who are victorious in these courts. People are defeating these corrupt systems. Okay, you just have to have the courage to stick to your guns. Okay, if you're dealing with a magistrate, a judge, a cop, no matter, you ask for their oath. You put oath on record and their bond information. You know, who issued their bond, what's the value of that bond, who is holding it in trust for redemption. Bond is a paper worth $1 million. They can't step off that paper. They cannot operate outside of the realm of that bond. So if they do, you get to say someone abandoned $1 million. If you get hands on that actual bond, you know, I take the original to the issuing agency. It's a check for that amount. They have to honor it. You know, again, people are going into court walking out with checks. Okay, if they don't have oath and bond and they don't want to put it clearly on the record, you can tell them you're not holding office lawfully. You can also give them their oath, as you're going to have a copy of that as well. You have to be prepared. You have all the tools and the knowledge, you can be successful. If you don't have the tools, you don't have the knowledge, and if you don't have the most important thing, which is the courage, you're going to lose. It don't matter how good that paperwork is. It doesn't matter how much freaking knowledge you got in that brain. If you're scared, do not do this, because they can smell you a week from your court date. Now, I'm saying this not to be rude. I'm not saying it to be disrespectful. I'm someone coming from the place where I've been down that road. I've been with their shackles. I've been kidnapped, hijacked by these goons. Okay? I've been through the chains. I've been through the misery. They've planted so much within our belief system that we get so afraid of the system that is actually there to set us all free if we know how to use the system, if we know how to play the game. Okay? That's what you have to keep in mind. Once you know how to play the game, you can win the game every time. It does not matter the court case you have. It does not matter if it's child support. Okay, it's divorce. No victim, no crime. That's another thing. A lot of you guys are worrying. Keep in mind, any remedy that would have been available to man or woman in 1776 is still available to you guys. That falls under the non-UCC. You know, we have all these remedies, okay? We have all these remedies, but a lot of you guys are not overstanding the power that you have. You're not overstanding the paperwork that you may have, that someone prepared for you. Maybe you prepared your own paperwork. Maybe you're just not confident enough. If you're not confident enough, they're going to know. They're going to test you. They're going to ask you questions. They're going to ask you, what case law is this? Why did you use this case law? And if you don't know how to respond, then you have a problem. Keep in mind, if there's no victim, there's no crime, okay? If you have caused any woman, man, child any harm, they have to let it be known. You have to have the ability to face your accuser. If you don't have no accuser, there's a false claim against you. And you can hold these officials, which are really non-officials, completely liable, going after their insurance bonds, going after them. That's why they're insured. Okay? No victim, no crime. It's as simple as that. Everything is a fiction. You go into court as sui juris, propria persona, getting the truth on the record. Okay? What the Constitution does in the first 10 articles of amendment, if you don't know, is known as the Bill of Rights. It is restrict governments, both federal and state, from interfering in the right of sovereign natural people to exercise their inherent rights freely. to juries, your government. Okay? So what does that mean? That means that you have the rights to say you're not a U.S. citizen, you're not a federal employee. Okay? That's not you. The all caps name, Strawman, is not you. Knowing the real nature of the court and what is happening against you is half the battle in preventing the state from abusing you and your family. And I know this so much and so well because they're abusers, especially as they prey on the unwise and the fear. And so many people fear the governments. It's supposed to be the other way around. And you guys with your attorneys and wanting to get a lawyer, learn why you do not want anybody to represent you. How you give up your sovereignty when you allow anyone to represent you. Learn to tell the public servants in black robes that you do not want to contract with them. You do not allow them to violate your rights and abuse you. You need to learn to tell the courts that you do not voluntarily comply with anything that's unconstitutional against you. Okay? And that you're not a commodity. You guys really need to step up to the plate and get the courage, because we're the ones who are winning every single day. It's the people with the courage, the people who know who they are. Are so many people living as a piece of paper. So many people walking zombies because they have you listed as decedent, as a dead entity. You need to learn how to go into court confident. Exercise your sovereignty. Claim your inherited rights and make a public record of what has happened to you. Stop staying quiet. If a magistrate posing as a judge disrespects you, hold them accountable. Contact the state attorney general, the attorney general, file a complaint. Don't allow these low level frequency beings to continue to violate your rights, because it is a shame what they're doing, but they're only doing it to the people who they know they can do it to. Okay, if you get stopped by a cop, if a magistrate is being disrespectful, a clerk is being disrespectful, you know what? Activate your rude fee schedule. That's right. If I'm stopped by a cop for compliance or whatever, check, etc. If rude, I activate my fee schedule. Okay? If they make demands upon me, I charge $2,000 an hour. If they seize me, I charge them $5,000 an hour. You can get a notary judgment that the sheriff will respond to, default judgment to seize property as well, and come after them. Notary public are very powerful. Section 18 of Notary Act. They have the power. If they don't put them on notice for understanding and intent in the claim of right. Write a letter to Notary Society. The purpose of the Notary Public is to avoid conflict. So if you're on your way to court with adversary, okay, offer amends before you get to court. Otherwise, you can be delivered to the judge. He'll give you to the jailer and nail you. That's what they do. Law and Equity Act states if you offer mediation, discussion, or negotiation prior to court and other part refuses, they lost. Notary avoids conflict, guys. We need to start using the notary more and more. You have to know that if you're dealing with them, then if you're gonna be involved in sovereignty, if you want to claim a free man and free woman on the land, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of the abuse of these goonies, of these goons, because that's all they are, is a bunch of goonies, then you have to have the courage. Okay, you have to have the courage to not be afraid. Keep in mind, statutes and codes are not laws. Driving without a license, you're not breaking the law. Drinking and driving, which I don't condone, which I do not drink, is not breaking the law unless you hurt, harm, injured someone. Are you aware gross negligence is equal to fraud? That's what they're doing to many of you. Gross negligence. Your due process rights being violated and you're not saying anything. You have to rebut their presumptions. Make it simple. You conditionally accept their offer. Okay, whatever it is, if it's a parking ticket, if it's a drug case, you tell them, I conditionally accept the offer upon proof of claim that one, you can identify the accused party. Two, upon proof of claim that I am not here as the priority security interest holder and in all property and collateral, both registered, non-registered, belonging to such person and accommodation party appearing specially, not generally, merely for the purpose to give notice of my tender of payment, if any charging or accusatory instrument for my inspection and execution, and on proof of claim for failing to produce said instrument or refusing my tender of payment doesn't constitute discharge. Therefore, my business here will be concluded, and I demand to be walked from these premises or these restraints removed to be set at liberty. 3 days grace, any ticket, order, etc. It's all a transaction in security interest. Okay, this is if you have to go into court. I just gave you what you can use to protect and defend yourself. You got to go into court, don't pass the bar. Let them know. And they call the name, say I'm actually so and so. Give your first name. If your name is John Doe, say, hi, I'm John. I'm here to represent the all caps Strawman. Or you can better off saying, I'm here to represent my estate. I'm the agent heir of that estate. All caps JOHN space DOE. When you spell out the all caps name, that right there is like having a hack to a game when you was a kid. You know how you needed these hacks and you get superpowers or something? That's a hack right there. Okay? You spell out the all caps name in court on the record. Let the record reflect. And they already know what they got on their hands. And they do not want their sheeple to know what's happening. And they're going to want to get you out of there as quick as possible. Accept the charges for value, guys. You guys are not following Gene Keating's information. Accept the charges for value. Return. Why is it that a lot of people want to actually go into these courts, into these systems? You haven't broken the law. Only three ways that I know that you can break the law. You harm a human being, you damage someone else's property, or you use fraud or mischief in contracts. You know, you're dealing with de facto systems, fulfilling duties that is not the job duty. It's fraudulent. When you deal in de jure like Supreme, higher courts, you're gonna get remedy. It's done under law, proper lawful court. Anything that is happening to you unlawfully in the lower courts, you have to take it to the higher courts and watch that get dismissed real fast. Easy. Guys, I really am excited that so many people are awakening to this knowledge. I'm so filled with joy because when you know your rights, you can stop the corrupt politicians, the lawyers, the magistrates, the clerks in their tracks. Okay? When you're operating as a American or wherever country you're from, because this holds true and all over the world. Uniform commercial code is universal, worldwide. Okay? But I'm using as the United States of America, which is the de jure. And then you have United States, which is de facto, which U.S. citizens, 14th Amendment U.S. citizens fall under. You want to be a grown-up, you don't want to be a decedent, you don't want to be considered a minor child, then grow up, know who you are, know that birth certificate, that all caps name, that's your property, that's your estate, and defend it. And start using the Treasury and the Internal Revenue Service so you can see that they're not really bad when you know how to play the game and know how to win every game. Okay? Now, one final thing to wrap it up is many of you are using attorneys. And keep in mind, attorneys can't testify. There's a memorandum of law that shows all the facts on this. Okay? I believe it's the 11th Amendment. I believe it's a violation of the 11th Amendment for, I believe it's a foreign citizen to invoke the judicial power of the state. And they do it all the time. Yeah, U.S. citizens, federal citizens are foreign to the several state and subjects of the federal United States and state of New Columbia, which is District of Columbia. So therefore, attorneys are considered foreign agents under the Foreign Agents Registration Act. I believe it's F.A.R.E. and are subjects of the Bar Association, which is British crediting regency. Okay, so by virtue of the 11th Amendment, government and corporations and their agents are foreclosed from parity with real living sentient human beings. Rights of sentient beings are God-given by virtue of God's creation of mankind. Whatever you want to think of God. Genesis, I believe, is 1:26. While corporations and governments only have limited powers granted to them by their human creator. Okay, so they put this even in the Bible, what they're doing. Okay, Supreme Court of the United States has been since 1795. Okay, it's like there's so much information. I'm not wanting to bombard everybody right now, but I know this was a very important video for me to come out with. I'm letting people know my consultations. I'm letting people know you need to accept the charges for value, no matter what it is. It's all of that, guys. It doesn't matter. Once you know how to play the rules of the game, you know the rules of the game, and you realize the fiction and the real cannot mix, like the public and the private cannot mix. You cannot create a public debt. That is against the law. A creditor can issue a bond. That's what they're doing, is creating debts. We're the creditors. We can issue a bond, okay? So, just want you to know that if you're going to be going into court, just use the information that I did give you, okay? Accept the charges for value, return for value, there's no reason why anyone has to go into these venues. Okay? No reason. If you do, get the Cusip number to your court case before you have to even go in. Okay? Get the Cusip to your case. And that way you can also bond your own case, which I'm going to be discussing. Okay? So I hope this video helps someone out. Okay. Also, one final thing before you do go, you can do a 1099 OID with using the 1040V as well. Okay. If you don't know about that, you can check out A.W.A.R.E.com. They're gonna have more information about that, and maybe you can become more educated in regards to how the system is working, what is happening in these courts, and maybe you can, finally get out of the system, become a secure party. That's what I tell people all the time. You are the creditor, become a secured creditor. Get your birth certificate. There's a great book on A.W.A.R.E that'll walk you through that as well. you know Although the birth certificate is already authenticated, it comes authenticated, but there's a process to take it to another authentication level. Patrick Devine, as many know, already said that the birth certificate's already come authenticated, but you can still get it authenticated on a state and federal level. That gives it more power in the sense of you claiming true and full ownership before they do, because they have done it to people in the past. Get your trademark, get your copyright. Okay, get these things that are gonna help you set yourself free. Once you get that, claim it into your I'm not gonna say jurisdiction, but claim it into your territory wherever you reside. Do not use a physical address. Use a PO box, UPS. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you guys did enjoy this. I'm going to be making another video next coming days. Okay. If you have any questions pertaining to the video, any questions pertaining to this audio, please leave your message. Everything is welcomed. And once again, guys, no matter what it is, if you have not committed a crime, as I mentioned to you earlier, statutes and codes are not law, then there's nothing for you to fear. Okay? With that being said, thank you very much. Signing off. Peace.